What's good, you guys? We're back with another video, and today, man, it looked like it was going to be a really bad day at basketball, but that last game was super entertaining and fun to watch, and I really wanted the Grizzlies to win. I was one of those guys that thought the Grizzlies would lose in 6 and not get swept, and actually thought it was going to be close, so I'm glad that one of these 1-8 matchups are actually pretty close and entertaining to watch, and the other 3 games were really blowouts, but I got a couple key talking points on those games as well. So if you like this type of content, like and sub on the video if you haven't already. Let's get right into it. Let's get into this first game, man. It was a boring one. Once again, the Heat didn't come to play, but we're not talking about the Heat today. I talked about them in a video earlier today, so if you want to go watch that, go ahead, go watch that. Kind of make fun of them a little bit and rant on KP, but that's a different story. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, because although the Heat played bad, the Bucks played really good. And today they did the same exact thing, although starting out slow, and it seems like they always do bad on Sunday afternoon games, especially at the start, but they end up getting back into it and start shooting really well. Fun fact, Bryn Forbes scored more points in the series than Jimmy Butler. Just another fun fact out there before I get into actually talking about this Bucks. And I want to talk about them going against the Nets in the second round, because although Tatum looked great the other day, 50 points, Tristan Thompson with 23, and I think Smart with 23 as well, I don't think they can sustain that, and I believe that the Nets are going to win the series. That's not a hot take. So in this second round, Nets versus the Celtics, I feel like they match up okay, but not great. Against the Nets, I don't think anybody matches up great. I feel like the Sixers are the best at matching up against them defensively, with Simmons. Harris is a decent defender. Curry, Green, Embiid, rim protection. Matisse Thybulle off the bench. I feel like they have the best team to defend them, but I don't think anybody defends them great. But you can put Giannis on KD, and you can switch. I don't know, Holiday, Connaughton, and Middleton, put 2 of them on the other 2 guys, and I think Holiday will probably be on the one with the hot hand out of those 2 guys, and Connaughton and Middleton on the other one. So, man, whoever Connaughton and Middleton is on is going to have a really good game, in my opinion, because although Middleton is a decent defender, he's on the level of Holiday or Giannis. Giannis with his length, and Holiday just being a great defender. Brook Lopez as a rim protector is also a really great thing for this team, because you need a rim protector with all those guys going at the basket, Blake Griffin going at the basket, all those guys, Kyrie, with his finishes, Harden with the floaters and things like that. You need a rim protector like Brook Lopez, and he'll be very valuable for this series if he doesn't get put out because of all the spacing on that team, and that they don't really have a real center outside of kind of Blake Griffin at this point, because DeAndre Jordan doesn't get that much minutes, and Claxton gets a little bit. So if Claxton in the game, obviously Lopez will have a matchup. Griffin, same there, but Jeff Green, we're kind of cutting it close, but we'll see how Brook Lopez works in this series. But that's all I got for that series, because I don't want to talk about the Heat anymore. It's just been a really big disappointment, and I wasn't expecting them to be that bad. All right, let's get to the next game. And all I got about this next game, because I didn't watch a lot of it, Nuggets versus Trailblazers, because it just looked like a boring game today. And it ended up being a big loss, so I'm super excited I made that decision. And all I got to say is, when Jokic plays bad, the Nuggets play bad, and that's a pretty obvious thing. So that's all I got for today. Dame played bad, but Powell had 29 points, and McCollum played decent, and the rest of the squad played decent. So I guess if the rest of the squad on the Nuggets play decent and Jokic plays bad, maybe the same thing can happen. But Jokic, just everything flows through him, bro. Like all the playmaking, his double teams, dotting people up, it all flows through him. Like Marcus Howard was having talking about it, like it was a little segment during the game, like a special on Marcus Howard a little bit, talking about he's never gotten open shots before, and it's so much easier playing with Jokic than it ever been with anybody else, and that's the type of impact Jokic has. And I don't know if he didn't have that impact today. I don't know what was going on, but when Jokic doesn't play good, the Nuggets don't play good. Anyways, let's get on to the next game, 76ers versus Wizards, another blowout. The Sixers just outmatched them, and I feel like a lot of people just looked at Bradley Beal, looked at Russell Westbrook, and thought they have a chance because they have 2 superstars, but I think I really underestimated how terrible their depth is. Who was Gill? Can anybody tell me who Gill is, number 16, that actually got minutes while the game was a little bit close? Like, who is that, bro? Like, why is he playing? Like, why is he playing, bro? That's unacceptable, how bad their depth really is. At a point, they had Beal, Westbrook, Gafford, that was the only big, and then Neto, and I think another type of guard in the lineup, and it was such a small lineup. And that 76 that big 76ers team was just completely dominating them at that point, and it was getting really, really bad. Shout out to Daniel Gafford though. I like how he plays hard, but he was just overmatched with Joel Embiid. Same with Robin Lopez. The 76ers are going to cruise to the next series just like the Bucks, and I'm excited to see them, and I wish the Knicks, because the Joel Embiid versus the MSG crowd would have been insane, bro. But we're probably not going to get that because Trae Young and that team is looking insane. But let's get to this last game, the best game of the night, man. Bro, this game saved the night. I thought it was going to be a very bad day of basketball after 3 blowouts in a row. Probably the worst day of basketball so far. But the Grizzlies kind of saved a little bit, but probably still the worst day of playoff basketball so far during this playoffs. John Morant came to play once again. Dillon Brooks came to play until the end. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I really want to get into John Morant. We got Trae Young, we got Luka, we got Ja, we got Devin Booker, we got DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if I said Tatum. We got all those players, all those young players in this playoffs showing themselves and really, really stepping up to the plate. And Ja does it once again, although in a losing effort. He played great. He played really, really good. Had some moments where he made some mistakes, but that's forgiven. That's understandable. But he played great for the most part. Floater game on point once again, man. The floater game is always on point with Ja Morant. I love to see that from Ja, although it ended up in a loss. But we'll talk about who was a big part of the loss, which I thought would be a big part of them winning, because Dillon Brooks had such a good game until like maybe the last 3 minutes. Besides him fouling, he was getting to the rim, finishing over Gobert multiple times. Who does that? Mid-range, just pulling up at the free throw line, bow, knockdown feel like every time. And in the last 3 minutes, get this, he decided to start taking fadeaway threes. What is he doing? He hasn't been taking that all day, and he just decides to start fading away from his game with a fadeaway three. Dillon Brooks, man, I guess this is what the Grizzlies fans were talking about when they're talking about the enigma of Dillon Brooks. He can get you in a game, but he can push you right back out of it, and that sucked to watch. Man, he took one fadeaway. He took a three at the top of the key, I think, coming down. John Morant or Jonas Valanciunas got the offensive rebound and kicked it back out to the corner. He faded away from 3 in the corner. Another brick. Down. Comes back maybe a couple possessions later. Off the pick and roll. 3. Comes down. Fouls Donovan Mitchell. Out the game. Just a terrible set of possessions for Dillon Brooks. And I hate to see it because he has such a good game. He's so tenacious. He's like Patrick Beverley if he actually had an offensive bag, bro. Like, imagine that. He does the same stuff. He doesn't talk to the refs as much, but he does the same stuff, all that, getting into people, doing too much all the time, but he actually has an offensive game, and I love to watch Dillon Brooks play. He's becoming one of my favorite players in this playoffs, and it's sucked to see him like kind of take the Grizzlies out the game because they were really, really in it. Now let's get into Jonas Valanciunas and the adjustment at halftime to really feed him the ball and why they weren't doing it the whole game. I think he scored the first 10 points for the Grizzlies coming out of half, and I love to see that for Jonas, but they need to feed him more throughout the entire game and not just in the second half. And Kyle Anderson played decent like he always does. Jaren Jackson Jr., although he tried to affect the games in other ways, he needs to be that shooter in that front line, man. Kyle Anderson is an inconsistent shooter. Jonas is not really a threat. Dillon Brooks is not a great three-point shooter. Ja is inconsistent. Jaren Jackson Jr. is supposed to be that real three-point shooting threat in the lineup, and he just hasn't been this series. Although I do respect him for trying to affect the game in other ways, he has to knock down the three for the Grizzlies to be a little bit more dangerous. Now let's get to the bench. Grayson Allen. Man, Grayson Allen had a great game today. Wow, Grayson Allen had a great game today. I love to see it from Grayson. A great finish on Rudy Gobert. Then a 3 gave the Grizzlies and that Grizzly crowd all the momentum, and it felt like they had a chance to win the game. But the Jazz went on an 11-0 run and didn't look back from there. Also, another little thing, Brandon Clark was on the rotation besides Xavier Tillman. I don't know if I missed that Xavier Tillman got hurt or if Brandon Clark just is back in the rotation, Tillman's out. I don't know. Tillman hadn't been playing bad, but he hadn't been playing good. Maybe they just wanted to make the adjustment. But that was pretty interesting to see. Now let's get to the Jazz side of things. The Jazz played really good in spurts. Bogdanovic, I think in the early or late third quarter, was going insane in that short corner spot at the mid-range. Jordan Clarkson with a really good 3 going into the end of the third quarter. into the fourth quarter. That was a big three over John Morant, and that was a really big three to put them back at 11. But the Grizzlies fought all the way back. The pick and roll between Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert wasn't on point as it was in the past, but Conley was hitting from three, man. Oh my goodness, he was on fire, bro. He was on fire. I felt like every time he left his hands, it was going in. I knew he was going to show out in Memphis, but I didn't know he was going to go crazy like that. Man, oh man, he was doing it. He was doing it for sure, and I love to see that from Mike Conley because, and I'm sure it's bittersweet for Mike Conley and Memphis fans to be like kind of going against each other because he's been so beloved in Memphis and beloved by Memphis fans for so long. So it's probably weird for both of them, but it's looking to be a great series. Now let's get to Donovan Mitchell, and this was really interesting. He didn't play a lot. Although they won the game, he didn't play a lot, and people were thinking that he was hurt. He came back in though. And get this, once again, he did not look hurt, ladies and gentlemen. He did not look hurt whatsoever, bro. He came out, I think he hit a three, then he hit that nice tough layup over Jonas, and he was holding his face. He was just really big in crunch time for the Utah Jazz, and that's what Donovan Mitchell needs to do for the Jazz to be successful. And he did it once again, and I'm proud of Donovan Mitchell for that because it looked like he was, at the beginning, Dylan Brooks was making it pretty hard for him, but at the end of the game, Dylan fouled out, and after that, it was pretty much his world, to be honest with you. It was his world. Yeah, man, that's all I got for you guys today, man. One good game, 3 bad ones. Tomorrow will be a way better slate of games, I feel like. I'm going to be going to Game 4 of the Dallas Mavericks series, so hopefully we can go up 3-1, and I'm really excited to go to another Mavs game, and hopefully we can win this one at home. Our supporting cast needs to play better. You know what I've been saying about him in the video I posted today earlier and my last video, man. KP, you got to show up. Timmy, got to play a little bit better, although I love what you've been doing these last couple weeks. Kleber, you play good. I don't have nothing to say. Brunson, you play good. I don't have nothing to say. Finney Smith, have to knock down your threes. That's all I got for you guys today. If you like this type of content, like and sub on the video if you haven't already. I do these daily, so if you like this type of content, please subscribe on the video. And I'll see you guys next time.